All right then. So we spoke about having a method, okay? And now we're gonna speak about which is this layer. Where is it? Uploading here. Okay. So now we're gonna speak about the second most important. So lean startup. In order to have a lean startup, this is a recap for the past slide. If you haven't seen it, go ahead and see it. Basically, lean startup is about having the method, testing it, and double downing, you know, see if it doesn't work, use it as data to improve on it, and make sure you're building something client related. Okay, you don't build things for you, you build for people because they will be the one that they will use in it. So instead of going all the way, by coming up with a product, hello, got a product, why you guys don't like it? Test, test, and improve it. Okay, bring up MVP, stuff like that. So now we kind of got a idea about what that is. Next thing is to go from 0 to 1, right? The challenge is to go from 0 to 1. So today we're diving into a book that fundamentally changed how Silicon Valley thinks about building companies, written by Peter Thiel, and it's called 0 to 1. Okay, so this isn't another business book, just another business book, but it is just another business book, isn't it? It is. So it's a basically what it is. It's a contrarian playbook for founders who don't want to just compete, but want to create the future. Sounds interesting. Also a little bit redundant, right? But let's just get into it. Let's see what's up. So he starts with saying competition is a myth, right? So the core idea of the book is captured in this title, right? Go from 0 to 1. Um, basically, Fire argues that there are two types of progress. Going from 1 to n is a horizontal progress, taking something that works and making incremental improvements. This is what globalization looks like, which we'll not get into it. But going from 0 to 1 is vertical progress. So basically, this is technology. 0 to 1. Maybe you're familiar with 0 to 1 terms, since this is how machine talks between them. Between basically, it's an on and off language, which is 0 translates and 0 and 1s. So this technology basically is creating something radically new where nothing existed before. Copying an existing model is easy. I've seen people doing these clones with the AI, using the AI, and they doing like they posting these videos. I built this company, $20 million. I don't know how many $1 million companies in 60 minutes, in 1 hour, in well, 60 minutes, 1 hour is the same thing. 3 hours, whatever. Right? They always come with these titles and these challenges, but is it really the same thing? Like, how many? Like, just think about it. Is it just doing? It's about doing the same thing, really? Because if it's like that, right? Then all cars go, run, right? All cars spin, have the wheels. They have a chair. They cover you from what? From rain. So why do you buy a BMW? What for? You understand? Like, what's the point? It's clearly not just that, right? It's a little bit more than that. It's like an ecosystem. It's yeah. Okay. So at the end of the day, copying an existing model, it's easy. Okay. The real challenge is where true value is created. Is um, sorry. The real challenge and where true value is created is in the first leap from 0 to 1. So that initial burst, that step, basically. So competition is a myth, he says. From the time we're in school, we're taught that competition brings out the best in us, or the worst. But Theo argues that in business, this is destructive style, way of life, destructive lie. Competition is brutal, but it's necessary. Zero sum game where companies become obsessed with beating their rivals. Zero sum game where companies become obsessed with beating their rivals. Take Apple, right? Y'all remember that interview with the one and only, the man with the plan, Steve Jobs, presenting to the world how an Apple works. And how did he do that? He presented his competition. He showed the BlackBerry because that was his competition at that moment, and he showcased on a slideshow 4 Blackberries, and he was like, "These are the keyboard, whatever." He was talking about how bad these phones are. They can't be, you want to add a button, you can't, all that nonsense. And he said, "You know what? How are we gonna beat that?" And then he was like, "How?" It turns out that we actually beat that up with a mouse and a screen, right? On when you move the mouse on the screen. So then he went down and said, "Okay, but what we're gonna use as a mouse?" Since because he went down, he said, "We got rid of all the buttons and we put a huge screen on the phone. But then how are we gonna use it? So we're gonna use a pen. No, we're not gonna use a pen because people lose it and whatever. So then we're gonna use our fingers, the most common pen everybody has." So then everybody was like, "Oh wow, you can use your phone, your phone by using your finger." Like wow, like touch a screen and something happens on the screen. So that was the basically the innovation there. But the point is that he was trashing his competition in order to put himself in a better spot. And this is exactly pretty much what this conversation is. Okay, so at the end of the day, competition is brutal. If you get trapped in price wars, they call people keep copying each other features. And the profit margin gets squeezed to nothing, and it's a race to the bottom. It's not a race to the top. So your goal as founder should be to find a way to escape this trap entirely. So that's why every now and then some of these people come up with some brilliant stuff and they literally just reach the stars because they're not really into competing with others, dragging themselves down, wasting so much energy on competition and on all that negative force, which is somehow nutrient, like it gets you going, it burns the fire inside, keep the fire burning inside, but that's not what success looks like. Like you could do that without all that nonsense. So yeah, I guess this is what this myth is about. You can if you want to compete with yourself. If you want, like, be better every day. Be a better man than yesterday. That's good competition right there. Okay, so next. Okay, the goal is a creative monopoly. Y'all play Monopoly, or know what Monopoly is. So if the goal isn't to compete, then what is it, right? The goal is to build a creative monopoly. Ha, boom. What does it mean, monopoly? It means that when they move, they gotta pay you, you know, because you got it like that. You covered all the board. So now the word monopoly has a negative ring to it, but Phil defines it differently, and it says that a creative monopoly is a company that is so good at what it does that no other firm can offer a close substitute. So think of Google, for example, in the early 2000s. They weren't just another search engine, they were light years ahead. Okay, so that's what makes them stand out. And I guess this comes down to that suggestion that when you start something, you should start it in a niche that you literally just gonna trash your competition, and they not even you're gonna monopolize all that stuff, because they will try to copy you, they will try to be you, they will try to intimidate you, they will try anything that they can, bro, because that's human nature. At the end of the day, human is an animal, bro. We live in a survival, where the survival of the fit prevails on this planet. This is the rule of survival on this planet. This planet is not friendly. It's been beating us up since day one, and beats up every day loads of species on this fucking planet. And this is how things go. It's just how things are. So you either come in and literally don't give any chance to your competition, or you're gonna get into this weird romance, bromance, whatever you want to call it, that it's just gonna bring you down. At the end of the day, you're just gonna eat each other heads, and you're not gonna thrive. Like you're just down in the misery, uh, crying on each other's shoulders or something. Instead of being up there celebrating. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, it depends on where you spend your energy on, and hopefully you understand this. So yeah, these are the companies that can afford to think long term at the end of the day, to innovate and to treat 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 the people well, because they aren't locked in a life or death struggle every single day. So this, yeah, that's exactly what I said. If it's a survival mode that you're running, riding, always thinking like, oh, who's that guy? Who's that? Always looking for enemies. Always, you're not really creative. You're not really, like, it doesn't really make sense for you. So you're not really focused on the right thing. You can't really dominate and monopolize a niche on the or the industry or whatever you're doing. People will come up and steal the idea from you and do it better than you, bro. So that's the point here. When you get into something, then you act like a king. You get in there, you're a king of that bitch. You ain't moving anywhere. So if you're not like that, you're not moving like that, I suggest you start moving like that, because I know what you're doing with your life. Anyways, let's just move on. What important truth do few people agree with you on? What people? So, this is the book. This is the book central question basically. Every great business is built on a secret, it says, and a unique insight about the world that isn't widely known yet. If you think about it, uh, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Rich Dad, stuff like that, of Robert Kiyosaki, all these books, they always kind of sell you this idea of a secret. Ah, let me give you the source. And then, yeah, you get something. But at the end of the day, you kind of knew that, you know? But a secret isn't some mythical piece of knowledge, at the end of the day. It's an undiscovered opportunity that's hard but not impossible to find. So the belief that there are no more secrets left to find is a form of pessimism. It's like as a founder, especially now with Google, sorry, with AI, when people just ask stupid questions and they get loads of information. Um, but then there's still secrets to find. There will always be secrets to find. Let's just put it like that. So as a founder, you have to believe that there are still important truths out there, and your job is to find one and build your company around it. That's pretty much it. Like you build on truth. That's what it is. And yeah, let's move on. The aim is to be the last mover. So we often hear about the first mover advantage. Phil argues that it's overrated. I don't know if you ever heard about the first mover advantage. You move first, you strike first, job that motherfucker. I don't think it's the job that knocks somebody out. You know what I mean? It's not the job, it's the hook, it's the uppercut. That puts people to sleep. So many first movers end up as cautionary tables. Sorry, cautionary tales. Um, the real goal is to be the last mover. Okay, the last mover is the one who makes a final, definitive breakthrough in the market and enjoys a long period of monopoly profits. It's not you winning, getting the first win. It's about sealing that last move and having all the market covered. So yeah, I guess that's a little bit advanced stuff. But Facebook wasn't the first social network, and Google wasn't the first search engine. Would you believe that? Would you believe that before Google there were other search engines? So this is the first one you heard, obviously, but they were the last to make a leap so significant that they became the dominant players. So I guess the keyword here is dominant. As I said, you want to dominate the market, the niche you jump in. You don't move as a dominant, you don't move at all. You stay home and sleep. I don't care. But you need to move as a dominant force, bro. Otherwise, why are you doing it? Like, what's going on? What are you looking after? Are you stupid or something? Just relax, sleep. It's gonna be good for your health. So yeah, I guess um, the next point will be the very quick the four traits of a monopoly. So how do you build one of these durable monopolies? Phil identifies four key characteristics, and that would be the first will be proprietary technology. Proprietary technology, which means your core product must be at least 10 times better than anything else out there to break through the noise. So just because you think they are, just because you're asking the price that you're asking is 10 times greater than what it normally should be, that doesn't mean your product is 10 times better than anything else out there. Okay, let's just clear that up because a lot of you asking 10 times more than what it should be, and you're just delusional because it doesn't matches the numbers are not crushing, bro. and I don't know what's going on there. But anyways, and if you think it's better than uh, anything else out there, and break through the noise. Basically, that's what it should be. It should be better than anything else out there and break through the noise. Marginal improvement isn't enough. Okay. So second will be network effects or effects. Your product should become more valuable as more people use it. Obviously, right? Because it's a tool. So you're creating a tool for people to that touches on a pain point. So more people have that pain, more people solution you bring solutions to more people um, find value in that. So it becomes valuable for more people. Third, economies of scale. Your business should have low marginal costs, getting stronger as it gets bigger. If your costs are absolute crazy and you just reach the end of the month with the profits that you're making, your net profits are getting reinvested and you're literally not even paying yourself, just get a job. What are you doing to yourself? Get a job, bro. Relax. Okay, and the fourth will be branding. Obviously, you need to cultivate a powerful brand that is difficult for anyone else to copy. Now, that's something difficult because people are copying like crazy nowadays, and that much is true. And especially with the AI that fucked up copywriting, it brought copywriting to a level that it's not even, you don't even know what's real anymore, bro. So I think certain things are going to change in the future, but right now it's wild wild west when it comes to web application, everything like that. And okay, so the point is to be a defined optimist, and ultimately 0 to 1 is a call to action. It's a challenge to funders to have a real vision for the future, which is vital, bro. If you don't have a real vision and you're delusional, which some people promote these days, I don't really get it. Like, why would you promote being delusional? Like, stay delusional. Some guys, motivational speakers, stay delusional until you hit with the reality, and then I don't know what the fuck is going on there. Don't even. I'm not even. So, anyways, the point is to you know have a real vision for the future and stick with it, bro. And make sure yeah, you create stuff that nobody can copy, but at least you hope, right? And Theo describes a defined optimism as someone who has no, who not only believes the future will be better, but has a concrete plan for making it so. So that is the difference between being delusional and actually, you know, being the real deal, being a defined optimist, having a concrete plan and sticking to it. So you ain't got a plan, but you talk the big talk. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm not hearing anything. Okay, so the future isn't something that just happens. It's kind of something that you build. We can invent and build. Okay, so you go ahead and build your future. You don't just that happened. Okay, that means you had no plan. You were just dreaming. Okay, so when you dream, make sure you dream because you sleep. That's definitely better than what you're trying to do in the real life. When you you wake up, make your coffee, whatever, and you start working on your dreams, okay, on your future, on your plans. Put the plans on, okay? Let's not confuse dreams with ideas and all that stuff. Anyway, so you don't just follow the well worn path. Find a secret, build a monopoly, and go from 0 to 1. Go build the future that you deserve. Thank you very much. Appreciate you for watching.